Inflation is rampant, interest rates are rising all over the world. A house market crash is coming, and it's already started. Now, I've already discussed in a past video how a house market crash happens. This then goes into a domino effect. House prices too high, inflation and cost of living rising, tax rising, interest rates going up. All this results into unaffordability, bank repossessions, lots of stock, no buys, and if there's no buys, too much supply, not enough demand. Then what happens? Price drops. And this is what a property crash is and how it happens. If you want to watch that video in full, click on this link above, and I'll also post the link in the description below. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss how best to prepare for a property market crash and how to make money from it, how to benefit from it. So sit back, relax, and if you find this video useful, please do let me know by giving it a like, and feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post videos weekly of businesses you can start with little or no money, like these ones here, and these ones. Over the past few years, it's been relatively easy to make money in the real estate market with little or no knowledge about real estate itself. For homeowners, if you paid slightly more than the market value for a property, you could be pretty sure that the market would catch up to you and your home value would increase fairly quickly. Those who are more adventurous tried their hand at house flipping, and again, if they exceeded their renovation costs by a small amount, they could still make a profit on the sale of it. But when it comes to making money in real estate, there are two main kinds of investors. You have the flippers and you have the long-termers. The long-termers are those that buy a property for a long-term investment and get a monthly or yearly income from it. They would be looking for a high return on investment. In simple and practical terms, this means if you buy a home for, say, $100,000 and make $8,000 a year in rental income, that's an 8% return on investment. After 12 years, you've paid off your mortgage, and then the money goes straight into your pocket, plus the capital gains of the value of the property. Now, a mortgage is normally 15 or 25 years, but I said 12 years just to simplify it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but this will provide you a nice and healthy passive income. This has been the best kind of investment since the beginning of time. The second kind of investor, and if you are brave enough, are the flippers. These are the people that buy properties normally below market value. They can find these properties in auctions, online, or buy direct from homeowners by scouting the area and knocking on doors. Now, putting these two kind of investors on the side for a minute, let's discuss briefly how to prepare for a crash. We will discuss what you can start doing now, and then come back and tie all of this together. The first thing you have to do is start preparing for this crash by having as much cash on hand as possible. And if your lifestyle doesn't allow you to have cash, then you have to cut down on expenses or cut out certain things and habits. I know it sounds like music to the ear, but you have to try put this into practice, and I will give you 3 practical examples of how. The first is by cutting down on expenses. No kidding, Sholly. Really? Yes! And let me give you an example of things I have started cutting down on. Ordering food on Deliveroo, almost on a daily basis. I recently sat down to work out how much I order on Deliveroo. It's not every day I ordered, but on average over 20 times in a month. My average meal would cost me 12 to 17 pounds, so let's round that up to about 15 pounds. 20 takeouts a month is 300 pounds. Going out once a week with friends would cost me at least 60 pounds. Besides the health benefits of cutting out the weekly booze, that's another 240 pounds per month spent. So cutting out these two bad habits, I'm already saving almost 550 pounds a month. Another way to prepare for a housing market crash is not to get into any liabilities and to start getting out of existing liabilities. You see, before COVID, I was running a fantastic business in the service accommodation sector. I was making really good money. It was probably the best business I had. I will be making a full video on how I created a business with no money and turned over £1 million in the first year. So make sure to hit the bell icon when you subscribe, as you don't want to miss that video. Anyway, at the beginning of 2020, I bought myself a brand new Mercedes-Benz CLA 250e. It was a plug-in hybrid and it came with all the bells and whistles. This was it. And I had a great sound system too. And then COVID came. Boris shut down the country and...
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives.
And overnight my business was dead, finished, kaput. party over. So when I sat down recently going over all my expenses, I worked out that this Mercedes was costing me, including finance and the high insurance, almost £600 per month. And I thought to myself, what do I need this for? If I cut down my Deliveroo, painting the town red, and get rid of this car, I'll be able to put aside almost 15 grand a year. That's enough money to put down on a property in the north of the UK. And with my strategy, I know I can make on such an investment over £25,000 per year of passive income. And what I did was I sold the Mercedes and I bought this Toyota, the smallest four-seater car, for under 3 grand. And yes, it might be old and cranky, but it works. It's practical, it's economical, it's cheap, it's tiny, and I could park it anywhere. And now to tie all this together, what's going to happen over the next few months and possibly years ahead is that banks will be repossessing properties due to the rise of interest rates, cost of living, etc., and putting them back on the market, and most likely for below market value. And then that's when you and I come in and we'll be able to snap up these properties for long-term investments and passive income. So now is the best time to cut down on expenses, not get into any new liabilities and get out of existing liabilities, start putting aside money and look for properties you can buy. With a lot of people not being able to afford properties and now existing owners being pushed out the market and are now renting instead, there is no better time to buy properties for rentals. Last week, the core CPI, the inflation data in America, grew lower than expected. The Fed and Bank of England have hinted they may slow down on raising interest rates. It seems the beginning of the end is finally in sight. They say timing is everything. A recent report from Black Knight read, if sales continue to fall at the rate they have the past 4 months and listings continue to build at their current pace, inventory would cross the 6-month threshold by December, typically the point at which the landscape shifts from a seller's to a buyer's market. This means we may even be living in a buyer's market right now. Especially if you're watching this video a couple of months after it was uploaded, making it even more relevant. Now, this is very exciting news for first-time buyers. However, it could be somewhat worrisome for people that already own a house, as most people's net worth is heavily linked to the value of their home. Another thing you can start doing now is work on increasing your credit score. This will give you access to much better interest rates, potentially saving you thousands when you invest in your future properties. Now, I could go into real depth on this topic, however, the fundamentals never change. Get yourself a credit card and spend a little on it every month, such as essential purchases only. For me, that's my fuel and the local supermarket shop. Just make sure to pay this back in full at the end of each and every month. And these payments will be reported to the credit bureau, agencies, and you'll be seen as a reliable borrower. Of course, other factors are in place, such as your utilization ratio and average credit age. For more on this, click on this link where I discuss 10 tips on how to fix or improve your credit score. I will also post the link in the description below. If after all said and done you still don't have enough money, then consider doing the following. Joint ventures are great for people that don't have the time into doing the research or looking for deals, but they do have the cash to invest. You can provide the knowledge and all the work, and they can provide the cash. And you then split the profits. This way you can start buying properties with little or no money. Another option to consider if you have close friends or family is a private loan, especially if it's on a lower end property and you just need some help with the down payment or the work required in the property. You can offer an investor a fixed return and you can then gain from the cash flow and the capital gains of the property when the property goes up in value. If you're unsure about what you're doing, don't be embarrassed to ask friends and colleagues. Just make sure your excitement isn't clouding your judgment. But in order for all this to apply, you need to know how to do one very important thing, and that is to find deals. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to find deals, as we have the internet. However, the internet is available to most people, and therefore, there's a lot of competition. So you have to be smarter than the average Joe and possibly buy properties that are not necessarily below market value and use them to get the maximum return. And one way of doing this is by letting them out for short term as serviced accommodation. As I mentioned earlier and in other videos, I grew a huge business in the service accommodation sector. And one of my streams of revenue was selling properties to investors to use for short-term lets. When the average return was 6 to 8%, we were achieving over 25%. With these huge returns, rather than taking 10 plus years to make back the initial investment, going down this route, you can make back your investment in under 4 years. But as I said earlier, I will make a separate video on this, but I have already spoken about this topic in brief in this video. Click here to watch it. If you like this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification link below for more business ideas. Thank you for watching.